Did you happen to grow up in a home where you were taught certain money cliches like money doesn't grow on trees or money's the root of all evil? Is it possible that there are a lot of money misconceptions that people have that are actually keeping money out of their lives? In this video, we're going to be discussing the 10 major money misconceptions that are keeping people from achieving wealth. Have you ever noticed that wealthy people use money differently than other people do? Is it possible that wealthy people actually understand the way that money works differently than those that aren't wealthy? During this video, we're going to teach you 10 misconceptions that people have about money. Misconception number 1, live below your means. How many times have you heard that growing up, my friend, that you need to always live below your means? Make sure you're spending less than you're bringing in. Now, it is a true principle that, yes, it's a good idea to spend less than you're actually making. However, wealthy people don't focus on living below their means. Wealthy people focus on expanding their means. We understand that there's no glass ceiling on the amount of money that a person can make. Think about that for a moment. Can you start a business and actually create as much income as you desire? If you live in this country, the answer is yeah. It may not necessarily always be easy, but it is possible. My friend, instead of focusing again on living below your means, why not focus on expanding your means? Misconception number 2, use the phrase, I can't afford it. Ugh, I'm allergic to that phrase because it cuts people down. Using that phrase basically causes your brain to become lazy. It says there is a finite amount of money that I can create, and therefore, if there's something that I want to purchase that is above that, it's impossible. My friend, using the phrase, how can I afford it, allows your brain to get to work. Simply asking yourself, how is it possible for me to create the money to purchase whatever it is that I want to purchase, allows you to come up with solutions. You may be surprised as you start asking yourself these positive questions, how much easier it is to be able to afford things. My friend, please cut the phrase, I can't afford it, out of your vocabulary. It is only doing damage. That brings us to misconception number 3. Cut up your credit cards. I can't tell you how many times I've been at weddings where maybe the person officiating the wedding or a well-meaning grandparent tells a young couple, cut up your credit cards, you don't need them. And I want to look at that person and say, are you kidding me? Why would you tell this couple to cut up the very resource that they need to start establishing credit? My friend, can you purchase a home without really good credit? Probably not. Can you purchase a car? Can you use other people's money if you don't have some type of credit established? Usually not. Now, let me clarify. If there's a person that is addicted to spending and the moment they get a new credit card, they go out and they max it out on crap that they'll never ever actually use, then yes, for that person, it might be good counsel for them to cut up their credit cards. However, the art of leveraging is a positive thing. That actually brings us to misconception number 4, which is avoid debt like the plague. My friend, if you've seen one of my other videos, Debt versus Loans, you know that there's a huge difference between a debt and a loan. Debt is borrowing money for something that's going to take money out of your pocket. And so things like consumer spending, going to the mall and buying everything that you can possibly purchase that isn't going to actually bring you a return on your investment. Actually, the number 1 source of debt in this country, if you were to take a guess, what would it be? It's actually education that people don't use. Can you believe that? How many people do you know that have mistaken the counsel, get as much education as you possibly can, to mean get as many pieces of paper on the wall with your name on them as you possibly can? I know people that have several advanced degrees and then they don't actually use them. My friend, on the other hand, loans is using someone else's money to put money back into your pocket. It's okay to borrow money when those funds are going to be used to create a high return. Not too long ago, I actually heard a rant by one of my mentors. He's a multi-millionaire, and he's helped people from all over the world to purchase real estate and actually grow their net worth via real estate and with the passive income that real estate can create. And this couple came in and they were just like, we've got to talk. we are just over our heads. And he goes, oh my gosh, what's going on? And he said, it's these 2 houses that you helped us buy. They're oh my gosh, they're just so terrible. And he goes, oh, what happened? Like, have they decreased in value? And they said, no, their value has increased quite a bit. Like, each one has increased by about $50,000. And he said, okay, well, like, are you not getting reliable renters in there? Like, are they not cash flowing? And they said, oh no, they're cash flowing every single month. And he said, okay, so your net worth has increased by about $100,000. You're cash flowing every single month. So what's the problem? And they said, it's the debt. Oh my gosh, we can't fathom all this debt that we now have by purchasing these homes. And so he looked at them very kindly and he said, tell you what, I'll take one for the team. Give me these 2 houses. I'll take them off your hands. And they go, but those are ours. And he looked at them like, okay, you're really confusing me now. Now think about that for a moment. Are there certain types of debt, like loans, that can actually put more money in your pocket? Of course. Of course, there are certain types of debt that are actually good, that can actually make you wealthy. When I hired some of my high-end mentors, at the time, I didn't have the total amount that they were charging in my bank account. For example, my very first high-end mentor was $25,000. Another mentor, I paid him $100,000 to work with me. At the time, I didn't have that type of money sitting in my bank account, and so I had to use other people's money. I had to borrow money from other people in order to work with them, and you know what happened? That first $25,000 and later that $100,000 came back over and over and over again to the point where I did have that type of money sitting in my bank account. My friend, avoiding debt like the plague is a huge misconception. Yes, avoid bad debt, but whenever possible, it's okay to use loans to use for investments that you feel will bring you a high return. Misconception number 5. Save money for a rainy day. One of my mentors, Robert Kiyosaki, loves the controversial phrase, savers are losers. Now, when you first hear that, they may hit you kind of hard. In fact, when I first heard that, I thought, oh boy, he better have a really good explanation for that. But he went on to explain that those that simply stash away their money, especially for a rainy day, number one, they're losing out on a lot of investment opportunities to create more money. He said people that simply stash money away, especially if you factor in inflation, end up realizing that that money that they've saved really isn't worth that much money anymore. Let's say you stash away $1,000 just under a mattress for 50 years, thinking, well, in 50 years, I'll have that $1,000. Well, in 50 years, that $1,000 is probably not going to be worth a whole lot. And so even though you've saved it, you've lost a lot of value on that money. Imagine had you taken that $1,000, invested it, and turned it into $10,000 or $100,000. In that case, savers very much can be losers. Now think about the first phrase, the first misconception, that's save money for a rainy day. Is it okay to stash money away? Of course it is. However, don't do it for a rainy day. Remember, whatever you put energy into expands. And so if you're focusing on a rainy day, you're probably going to end up attracting a lot of rainy days into your life. I don't know about you, but I don't want rainy days. We don't have an emergency fund in our home. We save money for incredible days. We have what we call a celebration account, meaning we put money into that account every month strictly for celebrating and strictly for creating amazing experiences like going on vacation and experiencing things that we've always wanted to experience. We have incredible day funds instead of rainy day funds because, again, we don't want to create a lot of rainy days or emergencies in our life. And you know what? We've hardly had any. We don't put energy into what we don't want. We put energy and our money into what we do want. Misconception number 6 may rub you the wrong way a little bit. Misconception number 6 is go to school so you can get a degree so that you can get a good job and hopefully have security and good benefits. This is what I like to call the middle class formula for success. And most of us growing up learned that formula for success. Our teachers taught it to us, maybe our college professors taught it to us, and they said, yeah, go work really hard in school, get really good grades, get into an amazing university so that you can get a degree and get a really good job and hopefully climb the corporate ladder. Let me ask you a question. How many extremely, extremely wealthy and successful people actually followed that formula? Not a whole lot. And the reason why, what used to be really secure jobs really aren't anymore. Back in the old days, it used to be that people would work for the same company their entire life. They would get a job maybe right outside of school, and they would work for that same company for 50, 60 years, accumulating really great benefits and end up, climbing the corporate ladder. Unfortunately, it doesn't really work that way anymore. In fact, 95% of all self-made millionaires own their own businesses. Isn't that interesting? 95% of all self-made millionaires whose net worth are over 5 million own their own businesses because they realize that if they simply work for one other person, that's only one client that they have. And if they get fired, they suddenly have lost the only client that they have. Owning your own business means that you usually have quite a few different clients. And so if you lose one, you have quite a few others that you can rely on. My friend, stop buying into that old school middle class formula for success. Do you want to be wealthy? Start a business. It really isn't as hard as you may think that it is. Misconception number 7. If I get rich, someone else is getting poor. I can't tell you how many times I've heard this before. Or I can't tell you how many times I've heard people say things like, oh my gosh, stay away from the rich. They're hoarding all the money and they're making it so us poor folk have nothing. A study was once done which showed that if all the money was divided up equally among every single person on the planet, every person on the planet would be a millionaire. My friend, your getting rich doesn't make other people poor. In fact, if you start a business, you're probably creating jobs for a lot more people where there weren't jobs before. Your becoming wealthy doesn't take away from other people. It simply adds extra value to the lives of others. Misconception number 8. Money is the root of all evil. My friends, money is not the root of all evil. Money is neutral. There is no intrinsic value in money other than the value that we put on it. I've said this in several videos before, that if money was the root of all evil, then my pencil is the root of all misspelled words. It's not my pencil that's misspelling the words, it's me using the pencil misspelling the words. It's not the money that's evil, it's evil people doing evil things with money that creates evil. Money simply makes you more of who you truly are, and so if you're a really good person, having more money in your life will actually help allow you to do a lot more good things. Which brings us, of course, to misconception number 9. I can't be wealthy and spiritual. My friend, if you couldn't be wealthy and spiritual, how come all of the prophets in the scriptures, or at least most of them, were quite wealthy? If we want to go spiritual for a moment, God chooses wealthy people to lead his children. And the reason why is because they have one less thing to worry about. If they don't have to worry about money, they can focus on putting all their energy into leading a righteous people. True? My friend, you can be wealthy and be spiritual at the same time. Finally, misconception number 10. You have to work really, really hard in order to become wealthy. Now let me clarify what I mean. A lot of people believe that the only possible way to receive compensation for services is if they're out in the hot sun sweating and doing hard physical labor. I tell people, if people got paid according to how much physical labor they did, I would be the poorest person in my city. Now think about that for a moment. CEOs, usually the people that get paid the most in a company, are they actually in the trenches doing the hard physical labor that most of the entry-level employees do? For example, people that run fast food companies, are they the ones actually in the restaurants flipping the burgers and making the french fries? No, of course not. The CEOs get paid for their brains. They get paid for their abilities to create and to solve problems. Those are the types of people that get paid the most. People pay more for brain work than they do for physical labor. Now, is there anything wrong with actually working hard? Of course not. I recommend, yes, paying your dues and actually being diligent in creating a business and creating value in the lives of others. But again, the highest paid people are the ones that get paid for their brains, not for their physical labor. My friends, what money misconceptions did we miss? How did these hit you? Did these kind of trigger some negative emotions? Or did you find some truth in them? Please let us know in the comments below and make sure to like and subscribe. My friends, please never get caught with these money misconceptions again. Thank you so very much, my friend, for watching this video. If you know someone that would benefit from this information, make sure to send them the video. Shoot them a text message with a link to the video or post it to your or their Facebook page. As always, if you would love to take your life to the next level, come and join us. We have an upcoming class called Celebration of Freedom, which is our 3-day wealth-intensive transformational event. Click on our website in the description below, click on live events, and click on Celebration of Freedom to find out when the next class is going to be. Get yourself signed up and come and spend 3 days with me and several other people that are absolutely rocking the house down. My friend, I promise you will be so glad that you did. We'll see you there.